All right, welcome to the video. I'm going to walk you through everything with the orb. Phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whew, okay, here it goes. All right, so some of the later phases be a little hit and miss, but I'm just telling you, if you follow the first three, blow your mind, okay? So this video is really geared towards people who are struggling, okay? People who are getting funded and then blowing it, or funding an account themselves and then blowing that one. You know, you're struggling with consistency. I'm telling you, this video is for you. Everybody I've talked to, including myself in the mirror, who follows this, it really does help them, okay? So we got our iced coffee right here. Oh, that's good stuff. And I got some electrolyte water. Got my treadmill going. We good. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this, okay? The orb. What is the orb? Everybody knows what an orb is. I didn't make up the orb. What I did make up was this program, this challenge, okay? This challenge, phase 1. I gotta do this way, this hand. Phase 1. Let's talk about phase 1. Phase 1 is you take the orb and then you trade the orb. And that's it. You let it play out. And the most important thing is you journal. You journal your thoughts, okay? People don't understand how crazy this is. When you can learn what kind of trader you are, this is the kind of stuff that'll make a difference, okay? So let's just go ahead and get in the chart real quick. I know that's what most people want in this trading space. They don't want to talk about their feelings. Who wants to talk about their feelings? Not me. I feel like making money. That's what I feel. I feel like making money. All right, now, all right, let me be serious, okay? All right, so this orb challenge, which I want to challenge you to do, okay? You're going to take the first 5 minutes of the New York Open. Bam, candle 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, you're going to mark the high and the low. That's it. You're done, okay? Now, we look for entries. How do we get an entry? 3 candles. Candle 1, 2, and 3. Forms a fair value gap. Most people are like, yeah, I get fair value gaps, okay? For those of you who don't know, candles 1 wick is right here on the chart, okay? Right there at the bottom. Candles 3 is, the wick is right there. There's this gap, okay? It's called a fair value gap, all right? When you get that, you enter. As you can see, we entered the trade right here, all right? We immediately get stopped out 2 minutes later. Boom! Smack! Like right away. Journal that. How's that feel? What are you thinking? Do you need to revenge? Are you sad you didn't get the trade? Are you happy you followed the orb challenge? And you're like, oh, here it goes. I took the orb challenge. I'm in profit. Or what? Or you know, I actually followed it correctly. Okay, but you're gonna write down the things that you're telling yourself. Okay, I need to revenge trade to get that money back. I can't believe I listened to this moron on YouTube about taking some stupid 5-minute orb challenge. Like, write it down. Write down the things that you tell yourself. Right? The self-talk. The self-talk is so revealing. Okay? All right, let's not harp on that too much. But boom, we got stopped out. Bam, right away. Okay? Some of the people I was talking to, you know, like, we're all like, man, you know, is it just going to be one of those days where you take 5 stops in a row and you just get like completely obliterated or what? It happens. So bang. Here's the thing, okay? Almost immediately, we get what? There's a candle 1, a candle 2, and a candle 3 that closed on the outside. What is that? That's an orb. Right there is the fair value gap. So what do? We entered the trade right there. Right here on this candle. Bang. All right? So now what does the orb do? Just bounces around the range, right? I do like the stop. The stop is below this initial push. Stop is at the low of the day. It's kind of a big stop, but you know what? It's there. All right. So now what? Now we're in the trade. Now you're going to write down the self-talk. Okay. As we come down here and you're a couple $100 in, you know, drawdown. Like, how you feeling? What are you thinking? What's going on in your mind? Okay. Write down this stuff. As the trade plays out, shebang. Woo, I'm in profit again. Right. Feeling good. Bang. Now I'm not in profit. Okay. This is the kind of journaling you're going to do. Okay, for 50 trades, you're going to do 50 of these. 50 of these trades right here. Writing down your feelings. If you notice things about your body, right? I'm telling Guys, this is not hokey, okay? People don't want to talk about this. But when you got sweaty palms, okay, for me, that's an immediate sign I stop trading immediately, okay? Unless I'm throwing my kettlebell around or something, I should not have sweaty palms, okay? Even walking this treadmill, my hands should not be sweaty, all right? Very important. Self-talk. Talk to yourself about it, okay? So what do? We pulled up into profit here. We're now into profit. Now, phase one, you don't touch nothing. Phase one, you don't get to do this, okay? You don't get to, whoa, stay right there. You're there for a reason. You don't get to move that, okay? That is down here. Phase one, you do a 1 to 3, no questions, no movement, okay? You let that sucker go all the way up and almost hit your take profit and go down and stop you out and you lose all that money, okay? That's phase one. Because phase one is going to reveal so much to you about what kind of trader you are. What do you struggle with, right? What kind of revenge, FOMO? I mean, there's so many kind of like, this is the stuff that's going to change you, make you better, okay? When you listen to actual professional traders, this is the kind of stuff that they've learned about themselves, that they've taken the time to understand, okay? Phase one. 50 trades. Take it, okay? All right, so the other day I did a video. We back tested like 2.5 weeks of this orb, and I think we were up 24R on the high, right? I think. Let me just look. We were up 11R. Okay, we were up 11R, and that was great. Like, if you had traded, you'd been up 11R. I mean, how many people can say that they went 2.5 weeks and they're up 11R? All right. So that's phase one. Okay. Phase two. So let's talk about phase two. And I'm not doing fancy writing, typing this out, having, a document, whatever, right? You guys can write this stuff down. Phase two. The only thing you're allowed to do is control your stop loss. Same thing. Same fair value gap, same entry model, same range, same trade, everything. But now you can move your stop loss, okay? Now, this is where discretion starts to play in, okay? But phase two, let me use this hand. Phase two, seriously, it's just about stop loss management, okay? It's about knowing where to put your stops, and it helps you do another 50 trades, all right, where you're only managing your stop, all right? So, for example, you're going to have to come up with a system, okay? And if you had gone up into profit here and we pulled back down, a lot of people would have gotten stopped out on that because they would have been wanting to trail because they can't handle the idea of going into profit and then it coming back and losing. Usually, I don't start, like, trailing my stops till about lunchtime, really, unless we really move. Okay, if we really move and we're 2 plus R, I might start to trail there. Okay, to protect that profit, right? I do trade prop firms, so I am worried about trailing drawdown and stuff. And right now, this is what we're looking at is totally just my sim account here. This is where I run an algorithmic version of the orb just for this kind of stuff, right? Share in the community, talk about it. I do actively trade this on other prop firm accounts with Apex. We have many of our members that trade this actively on their Top Step accounts and stuff. So this has actually been used. I've been funded through the orb. I've also lost an account to the orb. All right. It's more of a medium range strategy, but it is perfect for training yourself. So perfect, okay? So, phase two, deuces. You are only doing stop loss management, all right? You need to come up with some rules. Usually, I don't move my stop into profit until we've definitely passed 1.5R. I don't care to trail until then, unless we are like right now, we're getting to later into the afternoon. Yeah, I start to trail, okay? So that just makes sense to me. All right, So plus, actually, my stop loss is sitting right below these big orders right here that we have on the order flow. So I'm using these giant orders as protection. Okay. If we start to pull against these giant orders and we trap these traders up here and we move past them, I want to be out of this trade anyway. Okay. There's a lot of institutional order flow, in my opinion, today, last night, and all this morning. So that's what I'm hiding behind. If it pulls against that, cool. I'm good. I'll have a small profit for the day. We will move on. But that's kind of how I've been trailing. You could also use fair value gaps, but come up with some solid rules. Like if you don't make it to 1R, don't trail. That's a pretty solid rule. Like I said, I'm only breaking that because it's just getting late, and I would rather just protect the profits that are there. Okay. Another thing. So this is why you got to make the rules for phase 2. Okay. I actually have phase 2 rules written down on a document. You can come into the community and get it. I have them on another video as well. And just follow your rules. Okay. But the same thing, you're taking 50 trades and you're watching the difference, mainly an equity curve. Usually that's what happens when you start to become a risk manager. Okay. Your equity curve gets better. All right. For a trade to go to 2.8, 2.9R and then reverse down and you lose a full R, that's kind of rough on that equity curve, right? A lot of ups and downs. Usually it's not so nice. All right. But, when you start to apply a stop loss management tool or a system, it really cleans up that equity curve. But the deal is you got to let these trades play. You got to follow your rules. You got to do some back testing to make sure that you're not just trailing out of greed and things like that. So here we go. All right. Third, I gotta use this hand. Third phase. It's the angle of my camera here. It's the third phase. Okay. This is a big phase. This is where you're going to start to, now you're getting in a trade. You're following rules. You're writing down your psychology. You're learning about yourself as a trader. All right. You become a good stop loss manager. Okay. You're not touching your TP on phase 2, but phase 3, you're going to start moving your TP around, right? You're going to start adjusting it. Maybe you are going to take profits at 2.7R for a very specific reason, because we are retracing back to a value area high or a POC or, Asia high, London high. There's a reason that you're doing that, because there's a chance that we hit like a lot of liquidity there and you get you get a flip, you get a reversal. Okay. So UTP a little early, or my favorite actually is to TP late, right? Because you're 1 to 3. Let's just say you're 1 to 3 just completely is right where it is on the chart that you see. But you have Asia high, London high, and some daily POC sitting up here. Okay. I would definitely be dragging that limit order out. I would be pulling this out, right? Because now I have shown myself through the Orb Challenge that I can trade a strategy, that I can be a stop loss manager. I have journaled and learned about myself, so I understand my weaknesses of FOMO and all that stuff, right? Right? You've learned about yourself. And so what's going to happen is now you can focus on the TP, right? So you're going to learn to push this out, but you have reason. It's not just some arbitrary 1 to 3, right? Because this fair value gap down here is what's determining my take profit. Okay. That's great, right? And learning to do a 1 to 3 strategy, it really helps. But what doesn't help is when it's arbitrary. It doesn't make sense. You want that logical flow, right? You do need discretion in the market, You can trade we've traded the orb mechanically and made money, right? Just phase 1. It doesn't always. It went through a 4-month dry spell where it was like up $2,000, down $2,000, up $2,000, down $2,000. And it's this 4-month, why am I trading this, right? And then it went on a 7 to 9 month run. And I mean, it wasn't like bankroll. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it made some cash. And it was like, well, okay, a dumb 1 to 3 orb was profitable. Okay. So these are the kinds of things that you build. Okay. And you don't rush into. Everybody just wants to like rush to stage 3, right? And they're over here like looking at their trade, and they're like, oh man, like I'm going to move this here, and I'm going to move that there, and I'm going to go here. And they don't have a reason for it, right? What am I supposed to be at? 900? Okay, good enough. All right, close enough. So those are the kinds of things that you do learn along the way, right? Is like how to make decisions, how to have discretion. You can't just like assume that some mechanical strategy is going to work all the time, based off of candles and market shape and whatever, right? It helps. It gives you what you need to be, but it's a good starting point. The best traders I know, they do use discretion and they plan things out, right? And a lot of times in the first stop loss management that I tell people right away, okay, is when you enter an orb trade, there is a high chance that if we go to 70% of the stop loss, we just go ahead and continue boom, to 100%. It's a very high chance. So one of the things you can do immediately, which I did back test this, is you can take your stop loss from the bottom, like it tells you, and you can just move it up 30% of that stop. So instead of losing $100, you lose 70. Easy peasy. Instead of losing 200, you lose 140. Okay. So that makes your 1 to 3, because you're not moving your TP, makes your 1 to 3, closer to like, 1 to 3.5, 1 to 4, somewhere in there with the math, right? Makes such a difference. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but it really does. Okay. So that's the first 3 phases. And I really want to highly encourage people. This sounds like such a hokey thing, man, but I'm telling you, the people that I've talked into doing this, it really does work. So let's go over it. Phase 1. You're literally going to mark the first 5-minute range. You are going to trade this orb, okay? You're not doing this to make money. You are following the fair value gap printed. I enter, stop at the low of the fair value gap, and 1 to 3 are. Boom, done. Mechanical. Okay? The reason you do this is to prove to yourself that you can follow a mechanical strategy, right? That you have the self-control and that you are able to follow an actual mechanical strategy. But what you're going to find is that it's hard, okay? You're going to find, well, if I had only done this, if I had only done that, if I had only moved my stop here, if I had only done this over here, okay? My challenge to you is if you get a bunch of those, 1, take notes on the stop loss management, right? That's fine. Take notes on that. Put it aside because that comes in phase 2, all right? Other than that, just trust the process because you're not here to... You're here to learn about you as a trader and the things you struggle with, right? One of the things I struggle with is ego. I'm not a very good live trader because of that. I don't live trade well because I have an ego when I step to the charts. It's just truth. Okay, I'm just being honest. For some reason, I have some stupid ego when it comes to the charts. So I get offended when price doesn't do what I think it should. Okay, therefore I don't make predictions. I just simply trade. Okay. All right. A lot of times I will visualize the win, visualize the loss, and I throw the dice and say, let's see how this goes. Market, you show me. Is this a winner or a loser? That way, it's not riding on my ego, right? I'm not mentally wrong either way. I'm just here to see. I'm just an observer of this trade. And yeah, I put some capital on this trade and I want to see what happens. Okay, that's phase 1. There you go. Okay, phase 1. My monitor just flickered off. for some reason. It keeps doing that. It's something to do with static electricity. Every time I get popped or zapped, that one monitor just turns off. It's kind of weird. All right, so phase 2, again, all you're doing is stop loss management, nothing else. Okay, my one recommendation is to move up that 30% right away. So you're doing a, just a 0.3 less loss on your stop. Makes a world of difference. I did the back testing on it. There are times where it just comes down and wicks you out right away. And yeah, that happens. Okay. But what it does is it smooths out that equity curve quite a bit. I was very surprised that just such a small change made such a difference in the numbers, and it would be much better for prop firms. Okay. All right. Phase 3. Okay, phase 3. Phase 3, again, now you're doing take profit management. Okay. Now you're looking at where your TP should go based off of volume analysis, order flow. You're looking at, highs and lows, session highs and lows, things like that. Okay. Big areas of liquidity. That's what you're looking for. Okay. That's where you're going to be taking profit, not an arbitrary 1 to 3. Okay. But let that come later. You should be 100 trades deep before you start touching your TP. And it's like, well, why is that one like kind of towards the end? Because that is, you're chasing money. Okay. And it takes understanding yourself to know how to chase money without chasing money. Okay. Because as soon as you start chasing money, chasing numbers, chasing dollars, it does something to your psyche. And I mean, seriously, I've watched it with myself over and over and over again with other traders. And yeah, wow, all my monitors just flickered on and off. It's kind of weird. Okay, anyway. So I'm trying to stay focused, but boom, like 3 of them just dropped and came back. It's like getting a little electric up in here. All right, so that phase 3, okay? Just trust me. I know you're like 150 trades deep. You've done phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 4, I'm just going to give you guys a little insight into some truth. Honestly, this is going to be a little controversial, but you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, here we go. You learn to YOLO accounts on Apex and Top Step. OSOC, YOLO, whatever, okay? This is hard, okay? And I'm just being honest. This is what I do. I don't like to take 2-3 weeks to get an account funded. I've done it in the past, and I've done it in all these challenges and every phase that I've told you about. But I don't like it. I like to hurry it up. So I will YOLO trade, okay? I will get in and I will put pretty much 90% max risk on a trade, and I will get an account funded in one trade with Apex, okay? The problem is, okay, and I'm actually being very serious at the moment, it is extremely hard to turn on and turn off that gambler, okay? But I'm going to be honest about it. That's what I decided I was going to do with this whole YouTube and our community and whatever. I was just going to be very blunt, honest about stuff. We YOLO to get accounts funded, because if there's 2 or 3 weeks of profits that put me into a payout zone, I would rather get something funded and be in that payout zone so I can pull some of that money. Okay. So that is phase 4. Phase 4, but here's the problem. You do that and it's a dopamine run, man. You're like, woo, let's go, baby. Right? You're like, dude, I just got funded in one trade. If I can just do that a couple times on this funded account, let's go. Okay. All right. I'm being a little silly, but I'm really trying to drive a point home. It becomes very addictive. Okay. And if every time you introduce YOLO trading like that into your trading and you just go on tilt, throw it out. It's not worth it. Take the 2-3 week investment and get funded. Okay. All right. But that's what I do. Okay. Especially with order flow and trailing very tight, YOLO trading can be very profitable short term. Okay. O-socking and YOLO trading, it's okay for getting funded, but a lot of places like Apex will not pay you out if you do that in a funded account. Okay. If I take an Apex account and I YOLO and I make 20 grand, and then I trade for like 3 weeks and I'm averaging like, $400 to $800 profit, do you really think they're going to send me if I pull half of it out and I'm like, I want 12,000 or I want, 11,000? No, they don't. They have consistency rules anyway. So getting funded is one thing. Plus, on Top Step, you have to do the consistency rule, so you have to YOLO trade twice. Okay, 1,500 usually, because I like the smaller accounts. Okay, I am not a 300K account. I'm actually trading 25K accounts in Apex. Judge me if you want, but there's a reason. There is a mathematical reason I do that. Okay, and here's the reason. I need $1,500 to pass a 25K challenge. 1,500. That's it. Make 1,500, I'm funded. Okay. Lose 1,500, lose the account. All right. The other one I like is the 50K. I will admit I like the 50Ks. I've traded a bunch of those. 3,000 to get funded, 2,500 drawdown. But you see, it's not 50-50 anymore. Okay. I don't have as much drawdown to gain. Okay. I have to gain that much more than I can lose. All right. People don't see this. A lot of people don't see this. You do a 300K. And these numbers might be off because I don't trade 300K. But you need like 20,000 to pass. And you can only have like 7,500 or 9,000 drawdown. Okay. 1,500 to 1,500. I've got some room there. Or 20,000 and 7,500 or 9,000. I can't remember. Either way, it's not 20,000, 20,000. So therefore, technically, my drawdown and buying power and losing power is taken from me. Why do they do this? Because it's better for you. Because it's easier for you to make money. Come on now. Think about that, okay? So that's phase 4, is really understanding how prop firms work. If you're running your own account, your personal account, and you throw I have like a 60K account that's personal right now. I was trading that for many, many, many years. Right now, it's actually sitting in like a position hold, and I would call what's called a bag hold. It's literally a holding account right now. I don't trade it right now. It's kind of weird. Feels weird. But anyway, so that's just sitting. But prop firms, you have to calculate how much you put down. But if you put in your own account, your own cash, okay, so this is what I was trying to say. You put in your own account, your own cash, you should really be risking 0.25%. Okay. I've talked with many people. I've worked with many traders. I do one-on-ones. You guys can click the link down below if you want to talk to me, spend some time. I do offer that as a service. I take it very serious. I love it. Even if I ever do become a 7-figure trader, that would be nice. I still want to do that. I still want to have a slot in my calendar to work with people one-on-one. It's one of my favorite things. Okay. So if you want that, it's down below. Okay. 0.25% risk on your own personal account. Okay. All right. But I'm going to share some stories with you guys real quick. Okay. I knew somebody who blew their life savings. It's a little above $80,000. 3 days. 3 days. Smoked all $80,000. Okay. That was not an easy conversation for me. I couldn't imagine how hard it was for them. Okay. Also, another conversation. Lost 7 figures. Lost 7 figures. I was like, I haven't even made that much to lose that much. Okay. Don't underestimate this game. Don't think you can just put 20 grand of your own money in. risk $1,000 per trade and not go on tilt, when you lose 8, 9, 10, 12, $15,000 in one session. Okay. I've seen it. It's sad. Take this serious. If you want to be a serious trader, you will not do that. Okay. You will work through the journaling. You will take the time to learn what you need to slap your wrist on. Okay. I literally posted in the community a couple weeks ago, and I said, hey guys, I'm not trying to flex. Okay. I actually try not to post too much, like wins and wins and losses and all that stuff, because it affects me mentally. Okay. And I just flat out admit it. I don't care. I will just admit it. And I posted, just got these 2 accounts funded. Ooh, flex, let's go. Okay. I actually said, I'm not flexing. I just want to encourage you guys. If I can do this, you can do this. Okay. All right. And next day, I decided I was going to, in my mind, I wrote this down. I wrote this in my journal. Okay. I was going to YOLO one more time to gain just 1,000, 1,500 real quick. Just to get that over the edge, I've done that in the past and it paid off. Okay. So bad behavior, but I did it and I lost, and I just decided, who cares? And there's truth to what I'm about to say, because I didn't care because I could just get another funded account. That is true. Okay. And at the end of the day, yeah, I was like, shame, shouldn't do that, but it didn't kill me. Right. I didn't lose sleep over it. I just went about my day and it's like, stupid, but I wrote it down. And the self-talk I was having is like, let's hurry this up so you can get another payout. That's really what it was, instead of being patient. Anyway, so smoke that account. Here's the part that upset me the most, is I went back to that other account, which was already up like $700-800. And I said, fine, I'll make my money on this account then. Sucker. What's up, market? You want to mess with me? Literally, that was my attitude, and I'm not kidding. This is not like me being silly or being, I want to be funny on stream. No, this is legit, really what happened. And I went to flex, and I smoked that account too. Both of them. Okay? I've been doing this 5-6 years. I'd say I have a decent handle on what kind of trader I am and what I struggle with, and it still happens. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know what my self-analysis was? I was flipping the switch. One, I had been out for a little while dealing with some medical stuff, right? Been healthy my whole life. First time I really dealt with something medical. Okay, so my goal was, I want to get back to having multiple accounts, right? I want a couple here, a couple there, this prop firm, that prop firm, and I want to, And so the ambition fuel in my mind was too high. And I was willing to put too much risk down, in a sense, to get there. And that's what threw me off track. All right. Now, the revenge trading, to be honest with you, is what surprised me. Okay. But this was my self-analysis. I was out of practice. Okay. Because of the medical stuff, I did take a step back. I was still very involved with the community, talking with people, doing analysis. I was trading some, I was dabble trading. I just wasn't being serious. I wasn't treating it like an actual business like I normally do. Okay. Like the times where I've actually made money. I wasn't in that mindset. For that time, I was kind of taking a break. And so when I came back, I was ready just to flip a switch and YOLO, just off the cliff belly flop. Seriously, it was pretty wild. Okay. So, for me, the revenge trading really surprised me, but that's what happened. Okay. Now, where am I at? I'm not that upset about it. I'm really not. Got an account, right? Working with that. Decided I'm just going to do one account. I decided I'm actually going to, for 2 weeks, I'm doing a specific training. So that's why I'm on a sim account. Okay. Because I'm not trading at the moment, but I have a almost funded account. I have an account that has some money in it. That's very close to being funded. but I'm pulling out 2 weeks, which this whole week, same thing. I'm done with this week. So after next week, I'll go back full throttle. But what are the kind of things I'm implementing in my trading? The orb challenge. Okay. I'm not doing an exact orb challenge. Okay. But I am taking those same exact principles and I am putting them into my mental trading that I'm doing because I've added something to my strategy and to my analysis. I prefer that I don't actually trade, so I'm not emotionally invested until I've proven this out and I've watched it for, 2 weeks. Because when I watch the market and not trade, I'm very objective and I can see what the truth is, or, like the truth of what the market's telling me without having an emotional bias or without me being like, I'm in a long trade, not a sim account trade. I don't care about this, but in a funded account, of course I care about it, right? Because that's actual paycheck. And that throws me off, right? But if I'm not in any of that and I watch for 2 weeks, I'm extremely objective, extremely logical. And that's where the growth is. And that's what I want. So this next week, I'll do it again. Same thing. So this is kind of what I'm actually revisiting what I'm asking you guys to do. And everybody I've asked to do this has been blown away at how much it's changed the way they look at the market, how much it changed the way they look at themselves as a trader, okay? And I'm telling you, with my story, I really need to make a video in depth about my trading journey and testimony because it's wild, all right? And it may not be as cool as some others, but it was like an emotional train wreck, right? And so I had to do all this psychology stuff. Like I was sitting next to 7-figure traders, watching them throw an entire Bitcoin around on a trade like it ain't nothing, right? Doing good. Watching them liquidate an entire Bitcoin and go, whoa, that was unexpected. But this still fits my analysis, so boom, I'm right back in with a whole nother Bitcoin. I'm like, and at the time, I think Bitcoin was like 60,000, 65,000. So to lose 65,000 one trade and just not flinch, it's like, wow. And that was a private call. That was not some Discord, okay? That was a private call with somebody I'm close to. And, other calls, we had a small team for a while and we were working together. We'd be on calls together and, just watching guys trade. And I'm like, I'm getting destroyed and they're doing just fine. What's the difference? Well, it was the psychology. Okay. That's why I went down that road so hard, so fast. And it still took a year and a half to dig out of. All right. So anyway, I want to encourage you, and I'm not kidding. If I can do this, anybody can do this. Okay. But take the challenge. Take the orb challenge. The website's down below. Phase 1 is up on the website. Follow phase 1 to a T. I'm not asking for your email on this website. You don't have to log in and send me your information so I can hit you up later. As of right now, you can just click the website, click the tab, you're in. You just look at the information that's presented there. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? If you haven't been profitable and you've been blowing accounts, who cares? Give me 2-3 weeks on this orb challenge and then come back and tell me it didn't help you, because I doubt that's what you're going to say. All right. Most people come back and been like, this is blow my mind. Actually, you can ask Dan of all trades in our community. The only reason he took this challenge is because me and him are like family and I begged him to do it. And he's like, all right, I'll trust you, but I think you're crazy. I don't see how this is going to help me. And he did it. And he's like, this is it. And it's not the actual strategy itself, right? It's the outcome of the strategy. Right? A lot of people get into this and are like, oh, he did some back testing on the orb and it's profitable. Let me go. Okay. Do you know how many variables there are in doing that? So many variables. How many cons did you take? What was your actual calculated loss? What was your calculated take profit, right? Was there slippage? Okay. Did you forget there was a news event? Boom, get liquidated. there's so many factors outside, but I don't care about all that. I don't even care that you make money with this orb. What I care is that you learn about what kind of trader you are, right? And that you move forward with the idea of, if I do this, I will become a better trader, period. That's what I'm talking about, okay? I hope this video has been like helpful for you. This was just like a kind of a chill walk and talk and, look at some orb stuff. But don't sleep on it, okay? It's 2-3 weeks. I mean, if you've blown a bunch of accounts, like I've said, who cares? Just give this a try. Knock it out. I wish you the best, and I will see you in the next video. If you want to join our Discord, right now we're just chilling in there together. You can just hang out, have fun, say hi, tell me the orb challenge sucks and didn't help you. And yeah, I doubt it, because if you actually do, it'll blow your mind. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video.